So
Yes.
thanks everybody for joining us today. I am Karthik. I am founder and CEO, and I have with me my colleague Sarbuda, who is from our sales and pre-sales team, and Khanjan and Ayush, who are from our data scientist team. So this is about most of you, I think, are aware about Smarten and its capabilities. We are releasing a new feature that is for PMML integration with Smarten. So as many of you know, PMML is a predictive model markup language standard that was launched, say, way back in 98, but it's a gold standard for interoperability of predictive models between different platforms. So we are now availing this feature within Smarten to improve the interoperability with other platforms. So just a brief on Smarten. Most of you are users or know Smarten, but yes, Smarten is one of the very few combinations of tools available in the market today who has got both the traditional BI and modern BI components in one platform. So while it has the traditional BI components such as multidimensional cubes and reports, dashboards, cross tabs, geo maps, and 100% browser based. It works from cloud. It works on premise, and it's self-serve. You don't need any programming or specific skill to generate or develop any data or content into Smarten. So while it has traditional components like report, dashboards, KPIs, and all, it also has advanced analytics and augmented analytics components like self-serve data preparation, which helps business users with no data science, with no ETL or SQL expertise to prepare their analytics ready data in shortest possible time. Key influencer analytics, which is ML driven model to which explains you and gives you insights on interrelationships of your data points and helps you identify the most important influencers for your target on your data. Assisted predictive modeling, which is again ML based component and workflow where business user or IT persons with no data science background can also create, share, and use predictive models on their own, and thus it helps your journey towards transformation towards citizen data scientist. Anomaly alerts we are launching in next couple of months, and I mean, we will let you know, but it's about automatically identifying the anomalies in your data and giving you a lot of ML driven insights with simple English language interpretations and generating these alerts to you via email and in portal notifications and stuff. So when a particular anomaly threshold on a target is breached, say your sales is down by 1%, it will automatically notify you and give you the reasons and explanations of why sales is down, for example. We already have sentiment analysis, clickless analytics, which is NLP driven search analytics. You just type in questions like Google and it will give you the best fit, the best possible answer from the data that you are asking questions to. So yeah, one of the very few combinations in the market today for traditional and modern BI components. And now we are adding this PMML integration feature. So I mean, PMML, just an overview. PMML is the industry standard format today for interoperability and exchange of predictive models from one platform to another. So whether you are using Python or R or KNIME or any other tools, you can create a model there, train the model, you can export to PMML file. And then typically the workflow that data scientist has today is that once the model is trained, it's a good model. Now challenge is into rolling this model out to business users where they can actually use it for their day-to-day use cases like customer churn or predicting some revenues or doing some classifications or whatever your model is. So typical workflow today is data scientist creates a model and then he either gets a Excel for the test data, he applies that model and gives the output to its business users in Excel or They may import their data into their reporting tool and roll it out to users, and which requires a lot of manual interventions, a lot of programming efforts, or use of either Excel or any other BI tool or reporting tool that you may be using to give the output of this predictive model to actual users. But with Smarten, you can automate this whole workflow, and once a PMML file is created, you can roll it out to business users in less than 1 hour without any coding or programming or a single line of code. So we call it no code rollout of predictive models. So it has obviously its advantages. Like I explained, you don't need any time, you don't need any manual intervention, you don't need any other processes or custom code or custom Excel or report building to give access of predictive model output to your business users. Apart from that, it also provides you a lot of insights and simple English language interpretation of your model as well. If you want to say give access via web services to a third-party applications or internal applications like CRM or intranet or ERP that your users are using, and you want to use web services interface, say for example, your salespeople are using CRM and you want a lead ranking algorithm, you already have a model for that. You can simply deploy it in Smarten and give web services access via and integrate that web services to your CRM that you are using, so they can have a real-time lead ranking right from their CRM. So to 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 democratize the use of biggest question today in terms of ROI and use of predictive is how do you make sure that every business user, especially at the operational level, has access to predictive models and support of predictive models to take the decisions. And we are making we are letting data scientists to focus on what they are good at. They are good at creating a good model, training it with the relevant data, and now rolling it out to the business users. This whole workflow can be automated in less than 1 hour once you have PMML model ready. And we will show you in the actual demo as well with couple of PMML models today. So this is a major advantage if you, and then access rights of your users and who should access what and who should access which models or which data. All that can be sorted out with inbuilt Smarten capabilities that we already have, or you want to develop more dashboards or reports based on your predictive model output. All that is pretty nifty and easier, saves a lot of time and skill that is typically required at the production level. So this is a major advantage if you look at it in the real business terms, ROI for the predictive model. So yeah, we are glad we are introducing this today, and hope all of you and your organizations will benefit from its use. Yeah, so yeah, we are Smarten, as we discussed, very proud. We have been listed in multiple Gartner reports, and we have many marquee customers using Smarten as their enterprise augmented analytics and BI suite. So over to my colleague Ayush now, who will actually take you through the actual real demo where we will show you this integration with Smarten. Yeah, Ayush, yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, thank you, Karthik. As he has explained the benefits that PMML provides, now let's have a look at it in live demo. So as we all know, Smarten is 100% web-based, modern full-stack BI platform, which provides rich features that cover a wide range of business applications and use cases. So since you do not need any kind of installation on your local machine, I am logging in on web browser with using my credentials. So here I'm using my credentials and logging in. So as soon as you log in, you will see the home page. And if you're not familiar, on the left side, you will see the recently used objects that you have just recently used. And if you want to create some new object, you want to go to right side and go to new. Okay, and then Smarten Insight. So Smarten Insight is one of the smart features that Smarten provides, which allows you to create predictive models. And importing PMML file is one of the features that Smarten Insight module has. So let's go into it. So as soon as you click in it, you will see two options. First is about create new Smarten Insight. Okay, so it is a general workflow in which you have data, and if you want to create a model out of it, then you will continue using this workflow. Because you have not created a model yet, you have simply data and you want to create a model. It includes various features such as auto-generated interpretations in simple English language, key influencers impact, simulations, auto recommendation of target. You do not even need to select the predictors for your target, smart visualization, and more. We already have done a webinar dedicated to it, which you can always access from our site. So as our topic is about using PMML. PMML is a file which already includes a pre-trained model in it, which you have exported from other using other tools or platforms such as R, Python, NIME, or Java. So let me use one of the PMML files, and I am currently using medical cost PMML. So I am uploading a PMML from my local machine. Let me double click on it and upload it. So it is about the predicting medical cost of a patient based on certain set of parameters such as his gender, age, BMI, and etc. So as soon as you upload the PMML, Smarten will quickly validate the PMML file from first to last, and it will show you the validation error if there are any. So in this case, it is showing us that data the tag data field must end with this delimiter. So it is basically trying to check whether your PMML follows standard structure or not. So if not, it will show you an error. So let me show you quickly what PMML file looks like and why it is showing an error. So this is a standard PMML file. And as said, PMML is a readable file. You can always open it and make some changes in it, which is highly discouraged. You should not ever do this because you can add something, remove something, and there are high chances you might end up corrupting the PMML file. Here I've just entered, as you can see, some garbage values, and it is showing us some error. So it is advised that you do not ever make update in the PMML file unless it is needed, unless you know what you are doing. Okay, so let me delete this non-valid file and upload a validated file. As soon as I upload the file, I can see the validation status, which is success. Okay, so I can move forward with this. Now clicking on next, but wait, this was the first and the last step, right? And that's all you need to do. No extra steps for configurations, nothing. You just need to have a valid PMML file, let it pass through the validation process, and that's it. The rest will be handled by Smarten itself. So let me click on next. Let's see what Smarten provides us. All right, now by now Smarten has captured every bit of information from PMML and has presented us in logically organized manner. It has presented us with two tabs. First is about the basic information, and second one is about advanced information. The basic information like PMML version, its copyright information, model's description, which is 1 or 2 sentence description about the model, some detailed information about PMML file directly derived from your PMML. It is called annotations. The target name, in this case, we are having this medical charges as our target. Platform that PMML was generated from, generation time, algorithm name, and the basic information derived from PMML. And this is the type of algorithm which is regression. Because we are predicting the medical charges, which is a numerical variable. So it is the type of regression problem. Not only that, we can also see the data dictionary, which is a collection of target and the predictors, along with their metadata, such as operational type, data type, their values. So for an example, right away, you would know that age from my training data is the time of my training, my model. My age had values between 18 to 64. So right away, you would know that this model was trained on such a data in which the values had range between respective range for each and every predictors. But if you want to dig a bit deeper in a technical side of this PMML, then you can always go to advanced information tab. So it has certain sections such as model pipeline, So a model pipeline is used to see the pipeline of the model when you are creating a PMML in a textual format. Okay, so for this example, I have taken exported this PML from Python, so I can see what kind of pipeline was used is at the time of creation of PMML, right? Similarly, we have the sample training data in it, and yeah, for every information that we are extracting from PMML, we are also giving it a tag. So from which tag we are extracting the information from. Okay, so this is a sample training data which is just used to validate the predictions, the quality of predictions of PMML. This is sort of a self-check, right? So this is providing us that PMML, whatever results that PMML is providing are verified. And there are also information about each and every section that we are providing written below every sections, right? So you can read it and know more about it. Similarly, we also have the training data statistics, which shows you some basic descriptive statistics of your predictors, like such as mean, standard deviation, median, interquartile range, etc. And also, if you have categorical variables, you will also see the counts of all of your values. Like male at the time of training, male had 676 counts, and so on and so forth. Last but not least is the data imputation. It is about how to deal when some unexpected scenario occurs, such as how to deal when some missing value is found at the time of prediction, how to deal with when you find an outlier. So all this technical information is stored inside of PMML, and it will automatically use by given values. Okay, so this is not it. You are not, this is not a final goal to upload a PMML just to read this information. Let me just save it so that we don't lose our progress. I would just name it medical cost PMML. Okay, in my folders. So our final goal is to make predictions from our model, right? So for that, Smarten provides two options. First is single apply. Single apply allows you to enter single record, and right away you would get the results. So let's say I have a patient who is female. She doesn't smoke. She's from Northeast. Let's say her age is 22 and BMI is 21, and she doesn't have any children at that time. So let's click on apply. And as soon as I click on apply, we will see the result out of it. So this patient should have this much of medical charges. Based on these characteristics that I'm giving. Let's say the gender is changed. Now the person is from Northwest, age is 35. I'm just entering some random values, right? And he has now 2 children. And if I click on apply, the medical charges change. So based on the properties that you give, the predictions will be made right away on the same screen. But what if you have a bunch of records together and you want to make predictions at once? Obviously, you are not going to enter a single record at a time and get predictions. So for that, we are giving mass apply functionality. So let's say you have a file where 10,000 records and you want to make predictions of all of them at once. So you can use this functionality called mass apply. It gives you 2 ways to upload the file, either upload the file or use already uploaded dataset on Smarten. Okay, so for this example, I'm using a CSV file from my local machine. Just choose the right CSV file for your use case, and it will show you some sample out of your CSV file as a preview. Right, clicking on next. So here you need to map the headers. I mean, columns with what PMML expects.
You are mapping your test data columns to your training data columns so that predictions can be made.
Yeah, and Smarten tries its best to match all the columns and recommend you that this column should be mapped with respective columns, such as it has already identified age with age, BMI with BMI, and you can always change if it has not predicted correctly, so identified correctly. So children, it is saying that it should be age, but we know that it is children, it should be children. So it is not ever hard coded. You can always go ahead and change it to the right column right away. And I think yes, okay, rest of them are suggested, recommended nicely, rightly. Okay, so clicking on next. On the next screen, we see the additional column that we are not using as a part of predictions, such as patient ID and existing patient yes or no. So we are not using it in our making predictions. So you can also include them in our final result if you want. So just you need to drag and drop or just click on it to exclude or include them, all of them together. I'm just not taking them because they do not add any value. Okay, so click on apply. So it is now actually making predictions for all records, each and every record, and giving you the predictions on the right side is a blue column. So let me just drag it and put it on the left side so that we can compare it. So we can see this is the real medical charges from our test data, and these are the predicted medical charges. So we can compare, either we can compare like this, like how much correct our model is predicting, or we can go to this button, which is called
So
validation
yeah,
summary.
one second.
Sure.
So in actual scenario, this is a test data. That's the reason you have medical charges filled in your test data, where you are trying to predict the medical charges. In actual scenario, and if it's a operational data, obviously medical charges would not be there in that data. So this is just for the comparison of test data and validation purpose. You may or may not have the target column that you are predicting in your test data as well as per the operational scenarios. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we can compare it by going to validation summary button. So clicking on that, it will show you how better or worse the model has performed compared to the actual values that we have provided, as sir said. So it has compared and given us the result of 75 accuracy, and it has also color coded it by green. So it is saying that model is excellent fit and predictions are accurate. So you can use it with good confidence in a real life. And also it is giving us other statistics like RMSE, MAE. If you have data scientists on your team, it will be very helpful for them to understand how model is performing or making predictions. Similarly, you also have the plots about the predictions that are made, and along with them, the description of all the statistics that have been used above. Okay, but if you want to know by how much my medical charges are varying, like if my age is increasing, how much impact is on my medical charges, then you can go to this interpretation, which is dynamically generated in simple English interpretation that you can read and understand how your medical charges are impacted from your given data predictions. So these are the predictors which are positively impacting your medical charges. Let's say your age is increasing, then it is likely to increase medical charges. Similarly with BMI, if your BMI increases, medical charges are likely to increase. But on the flip side, there can be negative impacts, right? So negative impact means, let's say a person who doesn't smoke, so medical charges are likely to decrease so by reading this much, you can understand how your medical charges are affected. And also if you want to quantify it, it also gives you the number. If increasing age, there would be 256 unit increase in medical charges. So increase in age gives you this amount of increase in medical charges. So by this much information, it becomes very useful to understand how your medical charges are impacted. And yes, this is not only limited to this regression kind of scenario. Let me go ahead and quickly show you another use case. It's about the customers churn from a business, right? So I'm following the same workflow that we have just used. Import PMML, and I'm uploading another file which customer churns. So for every business, it is required to know in advance that whether or not their customer are likely to churn or not. So if they are, they can take appropriate steps to avoid that. Okay, so I've just uploaded that file, and it has again given us the information as we just saw. And this time it is the classification algorithm, classification scenario, because we are trying to predict yes or no. Right. So let me go to this single apply so that we can enter a record here. So let's say person's gender is female and a contract is month to month, and all the variables they have been with us since 2 months. the total monthly charges is 22, and let's say monthly charges, total charges are 445. I'm clicking on apply, and we can see this customer is likely to churn. So the status is yes. And based upon what we are giving in the properties, let's say they are with us since 22 months, the customer churn status is likely to change based upon what we are giving. Based upon contract, it will change. Okay, and again, if you want to see which predictors are impacting your customer churn, right, then you can always go to interpretation. And yes, interpretation page is likely to change based upon what kind of model or PMML you are using. So this time it is giving
So
us
that is all auto-generated by Smarten based on whatever you have in your PMML file. So depending on what kind of algorithm you have written in your PMML file and training data you have used, system will generate this auto-generated interpretation and other features that Ayush is showing to you.
Yes, so in this case, it is showing that contract is having highest influence on customers churning or not churning, and gender is having the least importance, which is quite intuitive, right? Because a person's gender cannot decide whether he or she is going to churn or not. So similarly, we can give the importance or influence on our customer churn. Okay. So yeah, and as said, it is not just limited with regression or classification scenario. There are other type of algorithm that are supported in Smarten as well, like clustering, where you can assign the cluster to your unknown data. You can also have other models, such as a scorecard model or rule set model, that are supported in Smarten as well. So yeah, thank you for being with. You were listening to me. I was Ayusha. Now I would like to hand over to Ms. Arbuda to take this session ahead. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Ayush.
thank you, Ayush. So thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. So while looking at the presentation, as Karthik explained, that in a typical scenario, when data scientists are sharing any predictive results to users, they are either using XLS, or they're using some reports, or they integrate those reports in some BI or reporting system which they might be using, right? Also, they need to explain the predictive use cases to business users. Now, this entire process is very manual, and it is very time consuming. Now here in Smarten, as we saw, that any data scientist can create a model in any of their favorite platform. They can integrate the PMML file with Smarten and can use the ready workflow which is provided by the system. And this predictive use case can be rolled out to thousands of users in less than 1 hour. And as we saw, that it also allows you to test a single record and multiple records. And it also gives you an interpretation in English language, which is very simple to understand by business users as well. Apart from this, you can also leverage the web services interface to provide this use cases in CRM or any other third-party applications which you might be using. So here the idea is that the work of any data scientist becomes very, very easy. I can see a lot of hands raised, and some of the questions also we have in the Q&A section. So I'll read out the question one by one, and then we can take up the questions.
Yes, and yeah, everybody please feel free to ask whatever questions you may have. We will try to answer all of them. There are already questions coming up. So Arbuda, you can start from the first one.
Yeah. So first question is the use case regarding health insurance to suggest customer well-suited plan?
I mean, yes, Ashwini. I mean, as I said, it all depends on what your use case is and what sort of data you have. So if you want this model where you recommend the health insurance plan to the customer, you need to have a training data for that. You create a PMML file or model, which will become a multi-variable classification use case here. And yes, then you import the PMML file into Smarten, and you will see the same workflow. And if you do not have data scientist, or you do not want to create this in other platforms, obviously you can use assisted predictive modeling feature of Smarten, where you just feed the data, system will auto recommend the best fit algorithm and show you the whole workflow that we see within PMML as well. So as a data scientist or as a IT person or business user, you have two options now. One is create PMML file in other platforms and use it in Smarten, or you can use the Smarten Insight internal assisted predictive modeling feature to create and fine tune your models without any programming or scripting. I hope I have answered your question. Thanks.
Next question is, can we see the probability along with the prediction so that we can use propensity modeling, or if we want to choose threshold?
Yes, Kunal, this is excellent question. Probability is available in Smarten Insight, which is our internal workflow for assisted predictive modeling that we have shown earlier in other webinars, and that I showed the option when we were trying to create a new model. But yes, probability for PMML model integration is not available. It may be available in some of the algorithm, depends on the PMML format. We don't have any control on how the PMML is written and created. So yes, you may see it, you may not see it, but yeah, right now, I would say most of the PMML imported models may not have probability displayed in the workflow, like what we saw today.
Next question is there any time series forecasting algorithm?
Yes, Mittal, I mean, again, assisted predictive modeling already has a comprehensive time series forecasting algorithm, and it also supports seasonalities and trends and auto detection of seasonality in your data and stuff. And yes, like I said, you can create whatever PMML model you want to create. It can be a time series forecasting as well, and yeah, create that model and use it in Smarten. Yes, I mean, so time series forecasting is available in Smarten Insight as well.
Yeah, so Kervi is writing about the user interface of Smarten, wherein she's saying that PMML is better and faster than earlier version. Thank you, Kervi.
There are, Kairavi, there are two ways to look at this. I mean, if you are a data scientist and you have the programming skills required to write an algorithm in Python, R, or NIME, or whatever other platforms you are, data science platforms that you are using, and you feel your model is good, and you wanna you have a PMML model which is validated in your test environment, and you want to roll it out to business users, yes, you can go to the PMML route. And on the other way, I mean, if you want to use Smarten Insight, where you don't need to be a data scientist, system, you just give the data, system auto recommends the best fit algorithm, shows the best fit visualization, and all this apply and mass apply and interpretation and many other features. So depends on the kind of skills and bandwidth that you have available for different resources in your team. So if you have PMML models, use the integration. If you do not have it or do not have data scientist in your team, use Smarten Insight. So both options are available. Smarten Insight feature is more tailored towards this citizen data scientist transformation that Gartner and all are talking about. So yes, both options are available. And end of the day, if you want to be more bold and experimentative, and you want to roll out the citizen data scientist tool to your business users, or say power business users, where they can do their own hypothesis and prototyping or predictive modeling on their own, we would certainly encourage to use Smarten Insight. In fact, we have a free course now available on our website, which is a self-paced e-learning course. I mean, I would recommend every IT leaders and business leaders to recommend that to your power business users, where we are telling them basics about data scientist and helping with them with their journey towards citizen data scientist, to enable them to create, share, and use predictive models on their own. So yes, Kairavi, both options are available. It's up to the expertise and bandwidth available in your team to choose the right option, or use both options as well.
One more question. Which version of PMML is supported by Smarten?
I think latest version is 4.4. We are supporting that, and we are supporting one back version as well. Ayush, can you confirm this?
Yes, we are supporting PML version from 3 to latest version 4.4.
All right.
And
So I think at least 10 years of PMML standards have been covered, I guess.
yes. More than that.
One more question. Can it be used for customer behavior analysis? Can it do by itself like anomaly detection?
I mean, overall, general. If you say if you have a model which you want, where you have captured the target and influencers or any other data that is required to analyze your customer behavior, maybe you want to use clustering or you want to use some sort of a classification if you have graded your customers in the past. So yes, it is possible. And anomaly detection, I mean, that does not exactly fall into this place, because it is about monitoring the data and then raising the anomaly whenever the anomaly arises. But like I said in the beginning, we are soon launching a feature called Snapshot, which is a automated anomaly monitoring and alert system where, say, for example, you have a sales and you have influencers like region, product, discount, sales price, competitor sales as your influencer, and you say one person is your anomaly detection band. Then if your sales goes up or down by 1%, it will automatically generate email alert or in portal notification for you. And it will also give you the whole interpretation of why the sales is low or high, and say region X sales is dropped for product Y, and that's the reason your sales is down by 1.5% today, for example. So it, apart from that, it will also help you understand the volatility and trends and other parameters in interactive environment. We already have content for that on our website called a snapshot monitoring section in our products. And yeah, we will soon launch this also in say a couple of months. So yeah, please attend that webinar. It would be very interesting. It's again a no code anomaly detection configuration for even business users would be able to configure his anomaly on his own. Yeah. Thank you, Ashwini.
Yes, so in case if attendees, you have any questions, you can use the Q&A section, which you will find in the below panel of webinar. We still have a couple of minutes. We'll be glad to answer your questions.
Any other questions also related to I mean, predictive models or challenges that you are facing in your organization to roll out predictive models, or any sort of citizen data scientist journey that you may have in your organization? Please feel free to ask. We are here to answer your questions. And those of you who want one-on-one session for the demonstration in detail, please contact Arbuda or drop us an email on our website, or fill up a form on our website, and we will arrange a one-to-one demo with you and your team members at your convenience.
All right, so we have some questions. Question is it possible to consume the output using Smarten APIs?
Absolutely, sir. So yes, I mean, there is a web services interface available. So especially when you want to provide access to third-party applications or your CRM or ERP, where one can pass a test record and get the output in return. A web services interface is readily available and you can use it. So, and as for Gartner and many other leading leading analysts of the industry, your BI or analytics consumption or predictive models consumption will increase multifold when you are giving access to the output in the applications that they are using on day-to-day basis, so nobody logs into another portal to say check the predictive model. But say as a salesperson, if I have the lead ranking algorithm query available right from my CRM, I'm likely to use it more. So we encourage using those APIs in third party and other internal applications, and we have that interface available in Smarten, not only for this but many other data queries or NLP or every component that Smarten has. We have the API available for that.
Okay, so we have question from Meet. How can we operationalize ML models to production and steps to operationalize models to production?
Right. So like we showed you several ways, Meet. I mean, you create a model, or you create a you can create it via PMML or via Smarten Insight, whatever option is okay for you. You give access right to business users, and they will have access to the typical interface that that Ayush showed to you. Or if you want to roll it out to say third parties, use the web services in the way I explained to the earlier user. So use web services, or give this UI interface within Smarten to your to your audience once you create this model using Smarten Insight or PMML integration in Smarten.
Okay, another question is, can I consume output as data source and prepare dashboards reports if required?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we have end-to-end workflow. So say, for example, Ayush showed that mass supply interface where he can upload a Excel, or he can have a test data set created in Smarten, and then results are predicted. And this output, if you want to consume again in another data set and use it in dashboards, reports, or KPI, or say delivery and publishing agent to send those reports via email to your email audience, all that workflow is readily built in. And I think that's the biggest advantage Smarten has as a platform today, because data scientists do create the model, but then releasing that model as per the access right, as per the security policies, as per the governance rules of the organization, is extremely difficult if you are rolling it out with custom programming or custom reports in Excel, and that becomes too messy and too risky, as we all know. So yeah, we encourage you to leverage Smarten workflow for all these governance and other benefits. Good questions so far. Yeah. Any other
Yeah.
questions, please? We still have time, and of course, any one of you want to have one session, you can prompt here in Q&A, and Arbuda will be able to arrange that one-on-one session with you and your team.
Yes. And in case if someone wants to view the past webinars related to assisted predictive modeling or maybe clickless analytics, all those videos are available on www.smarten.com. So that will give you more insights on our other features and functionalities. We have a question. Is there possibility, instead of applying using bulk option, we can directly point data set as input instead of file?
Yes, like I showed to you, I mean, there were two options. One was to upload a CSV file where your test data is, and another option was selecting a data set, right? So if your test data is already in Smarten and you have created data set, straight away use that. If you don't have, use the CSV file. So yeah, you can use any Smarten compatible data set as a test data set for applying this this model to your data.
And sir, we can use these predictive models as a data source and create a data set from there also.
Yes. Kairavi, Kalpeshji, Kiran Kumar, Krishna, Krunal, Momita, Nilam,
Okay,
Pooja, any questions?
all right. So I think most of the attendees are done with the questions.
Okay, so I guess time to wrap up, and yes, have a look at our other webinars, get in touch with us for any follow-up demos or questions that you may have. And thank you once again. This was an excellent webinar, very good audience, interactive audience. We loved it. I hope it was worth spending your time today, this afternoon with us. And we look forward to see you again in our next webinar. Thank you all. Have a nice day ahead.
Yeah, thank you all. Thank
Thank
you.
you all.